So President Trump and the Republicans love to tell you how good the economy is, how much their tax cuts for the rich are boosting the economy. Hey, look at the stock market right now. Stock market is doing fantastic. Look at all the gains. That's what they'll point to. That's what they'll tell you. Now, in reality, the stock market isn't actually a good reflection of how the economy is really doing. Most Americans are still struggling. Now, for that, I go to the story of James Develid. Now, Develid, like a lot of Americans, unfortunately, has to work 2 jobs to get by. Let me tell you his story here. Now, last summer, again, he was working 2 jobs, working at Tyson and also at Walmart, and working a lot of hours. He wasn't just, some part-timer. He was working 32 at Walmart, and he was working as well as a janitor at Tyson. So, look, he was doing these 2 jobs. He's 52 years old, and I'm sorry, I think he's a little bit more than 52 years old. I think he's 56. Correction there. Now, when he was working his last job at Tyson, he developed some nerve damage. So in response to that, he had to quit the job at Tyson. Something to do with the cold and working in the freezers that would exacerbate his condition. So working those 2 jobs, he made about $40,000 a year. And think about that, right? $40,000 a year, that's actually not very much when it comes to America. Now, since he quit one of those jobs, that cut his income in half. He now makes $20,000 a year. Now, only in America do you have to have actually work 2 jobs just to get by with $40,000. But his story actually gets worse. So now those health problems forced him to give us a second job. He also lost his employer-sponsored health insurance. Well, that's okay, he thought, because I can apply and for coverage at Walmart and hope that it kicks in soon enough. And once that kicks in, I'll be set, right, if something happens. Except that in between the time that he had quit that first job and applied for the health insurance benefits and waited for them to actually start, he ended up having a massive heart attack. Now, 2 surgeries later, his medical bills are now out of control. And he's left, he's left trying to figure out how the hell he's going to pay off these bills, right? Now, I don't think I have to tell you that a lot of Americans are facing a similar kind of situation or have faced similar situations. Right now, the unfortunate truth is one unexpected turn of events can financially ruin you. So now Bankrate, they decided to publish a report on this, right? They wanted to get some official numbers, right? And again, I don't think this is going to shock you, but they found that just 39% of Americans would be able to afford to pay an unexpected bill. Now, this is a bill of $1,000. So just over a third of Americans would be able to tackle a $1,000 bill. Now, Develid, he has racked up at least $8,000 in debt for now. So he's actually got a worse time. Again, he can't afford to pay that bill because of this unexpected expense, right? Now, it gets worse. Most of those other respondents to this poll who don't have any savings said that they would have no choice but to go into debt by paying with a credit card, borrowing from family and friends, or getting a loan. So understand, this is America, right? This is the only country where medical debt can bankrupt you. In no other industrialized country do we have this problem. This is only an American problem. Why? It's because we don't have a single-payer healthcare system. We can actually fix this by expanding Medicare to everybody now. Now, here's more information. It's from the Huffington Post. Struggling Americans may actually feel or may actually be able to afford far less than the Bankrate report suggests. According to a Federal Reserve report released last year, 44% of adults wouldn't be able to afford an unexpected $400 emergency expense. They'd either borrow the money or sell something to cover the bill. That figure is on the decline, though. It has dropped from 50% since 2013. So, while it is getting better, it is not getting better fast enough. That is a problem. And I think most of you will not be surprised because some of you have probably been in this situation or have known someone in this situation or might even be still going through this situation, which is why the advice from Bankrate is probably going to make your blood boil. Greg McBride, Bankrate's chief financial officer, recommends that everyone set aside some funds each month in a savings account with the goal of having enough to cover 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. You see, you guys just have to save more. You just have to be responsible with your money. Stop buying your coffees, your overpriced coffee, and your avocado toast. And you could also have savings, just in case you have a heart attack in between jobs and insurance where you only make $20,000 a year and then rack up thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars in health coverage costs. Basically, hey, look, that's not the problem here. The problem isn't people being irresponsible with their money. It's the fact that people, number one, don't get paid enough, and number two, things are so incredibly expensive. And here's the other thing. How can you save money that you don't actually have? And look, I've lived this before, and there's nothing more frustrating than somebody telling you to save money that you can't possibly get, right? When you pay most of your income on just survival, obviously rent, bills and things like that, food, some people have nothing left. And yes, these are the same people who end up working to low-wage jobs. These people can't afford to go to school, and they can't afford to rack up all this student loan debt. Or some people actually do have this student loan debt, and that's one of the major drains on their income. So, but see, here's the thing. The people that always tell you that you need to save more, they're the people that usually have money. Now, this guy, Duvall, had to work 2 jobs until he was unable to. Again, he's somebody who's somewhere around 10 years or so close to retirement. And then one thing happened, and there goes his finances. There went his savings. He had $5,000 worth of savings, by the way, and that also got destroyed. They had to also sell one of their cars. So, look, even they had money saved up, and this unexpected accident happened, or this unexpected heart attack, health emergency, whatever, and they're wiped out. Absolutely wiped out. And yet, there are people that want to tell you, no, America, the economy is doing fantastic. Again, look at the stock market. Well, the stock market is not the economy. It's only a measure of the economy. And that's the measure of how well rich people are doing. Well, look, that's not regular people. Okay, that's not regular working Americans. We're not affected by the stock market at all. I mean, look, there are some people that have 401ks through their employer, and they are affected, but a lot of people also don't have retirement plans through their work. These are the people that I'm talking about, the working poor. So, yes, while the economy is great for some people on Wall Street and some people in the middle class, for a majority of people, it sucks. And that's why, of course, people despise the status quo, because that is the same status quo that is absolutely crushing them. And by the way, again, I have to remind you, we just gave the wealthy $1.5 trillion in tax cuts while people are suffering, while people can't afford to pay their bills. The rich took that money, they put it in their pocket, while you worked 2 jobs just to get by. And this isn't just a problem created by Republicans. No, this is an effect of neoliberal free market economics. We're the only country without universal health care. Is it really a surprise that so many Americans go bankrupt because of simple medical emergencies? This is unheard of in other places. Wages, they're also stagnant. They've been stagnant since the 1980s. This is through Democratic administrations, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and through Republican administrations as well. George W. Bush, all that. And of course, George Bush. So, look, this is a situation where the corruption in our government affects policy. Again, Bill Clinton brought the Democrats from being more left-leaning to being the centrist, being pro-business, pro-business Democrats, right? What we call the corporate Democrats. These are the people that said, oh, you know what? Free trade is awesome. Tax cuts are great for businesses, and we should deregulate more. So, and look, we can't have things like, we can't have ponies like Medicare for all. No, we can't do that. We have to keep our healthcare privatized because our donors have to make a profit. We have got to protect the status quo. We've got to protect the donors. Those are the people who actually pay us. And those are the people we work for. Again, both Democrats and Republicans are benefiting from this massive corruption that we have in the government thanks to money and politics. And they love the status quo. Hillary Clinton loved the status quo. And all these Democrats, most of them love the status quo. But unfortunately, the status quo is killing us. We are currently being strangled by the establishment while the rich get richer and we all fall behind. No more. We actually need to vote for progressive candidates. We need to actually fight back. Because if we don't fight back, they're going to continue squeezing us until there's nothing left. And they're close. We have to fight. Because for a lot of us, our lives are literally depending on it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.